What's going on, you guys? My name is Zach Hartley and welcome back to another weekly watch list video. First thing I want to do here is just say thank you so much for watching these videos. I started this series back in like September or October of 2020. We went all through 2021 and now we are basically starting on day one of 2022 and I couldn't be happier. I'm very excited to make these videos and I just want to say thank you guys for watching these videos every single week and tuning in to hear what I have to say. I hope it has been a help and I hope it has been a good tool for you to start the week off of trading. That's what I'm trying to do in these videos, is basically be a resource that you can use to get a market update and a couple of trading ideas. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so when we look at the indices here, we're going to look at the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, and the S&P 500. I have lined up all of these charts so that they show us the last 12 months so we can see exactly how well it did in the year of 2021, and the NASDAQ actually did extremely well in 2021. It went up by 21% from January 1st to January 1st, which is really nice to see. And looking back on it here, I never had this kind of trend line here, but looking back on it and really opening up this chart was nice for me today because you can very clearly see that we have a trend line that formed right here in March at the beginning of the year. It was tested several times throughout the year and it has actually held up pretty well and pretty steady. You can see we also got rejected at 14,200 right here in March, again right here at the beginning of May, and then that same level acted as support right here in October. And so a couple of unique patterns that we're starting to see here in the NASDAQ, and this gives us a lot of insight into key support levels moving forward. So what I mean by this is, if you're worried about a market crash or you see all the YouTube videos talking about a market crash, here's what you should look for. If this trend line is still intact and is still supporting the price, meaning that the price is trading above this trend line, I can tell you that we have not had a structural breakdown in the NASDAQ or in the markets. And so far that has not happened at all over the last basically 8 months here. We have had a little bit of choppy trading over the last few weeks, but even at our lowest in the last kind of 3 weeks here, it was just basically testing this support level. And so until this support line gets broken down and the price trades below this support line, we are doing pretty well as a market. We don't have a whole lot to worry about. Now, if we break down through that support line and we cross through the next one right here, this 14,200 level that acted as previous support, if we then break down through 14,200, that would be confirmation of a broad market sell-off, of a break of trend, of a bearish trend. And that is the point where you may want to worry and you may want to be concerned about your holdings. But when you look at this chart and you look at the NASDAQ and you look at the market, it was a pretty positive year. We've got a major trend line of support right here and we've got a major level of support right here at 14,200. Now, when we look at the S&P 500, it was actually a very, very similar trend. You can see I can draw a trend line all the way connecting the lows of the year, and that trend line held up all the way throughout the year. Very, very nice to see. I think it's a very good show of confidence that if you invest wisely and you invest in a diversified portfolio and you invest in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, you're going to do well over the long term. And 2021 basically confirmed that. The S&P 500 was up 27% in the year, and the Dow Jones had a little bit more choppy trading. We did have a similar trend line forming for the first half of the year, and then since then we've basically traded sideways with a couple of tests right here at 34,000 and a little bit of resistance right here at 36,500. It looks like the Dow Jones is possibly trading in a channel right now, but we will need a little bit more time to figure that out. What I would be watching for in the Dow Jones is if we break below 34,000, that would be a sign of a trend change and a bearish trend that could be forming. And if we break out above 36,000, kind of this previous level of resistance, this white line right here, that would be a very bullish indication, and that would be an opportunity to kind of buy into your favorite stocks. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, this was definitely the biggest roller coaster of the year, moving from just below 27,500 up to a high of over 67,500, and then pretty much all the way back down to 30, back up to 70, and then basically trading at about 47, 48 right now. Bitcoin from the open to the close on the year is actually up 60% though, so pretty good returns from Bitcoin. We're also starting to see a little bit of sideways action right here with a double bottom at 45,000. It looks like that could be holding up as support, and if we see it bounce off 45,000 in the bullish direction, that could be confirmation of a trend change from the last kind of few months here. Okay, now the next thing that we need to talk about here is COVID, because the Omicron variant, it looks like it travels a little bit faster and a little bit easier from person to person. And with Christmas that we just had, everybody was getting together, and as we can see, that has sent these numbers absolutely skyrocketing. The US is above 500,000 new cases per day, which is not very good, and Canada proportionally is actually doing worse. Canada is currently sitting at about 40,000 new cases per day, and based on just kind of simple math, that's about 4 times worse than our worst day ever in pretty much the first half of 2021, which is not good to see at all. Omicron cases are skyrocketing, COVID cases are skyrocketing. It looks like the health systems are starting to be overwhelmed, and it looks like this is actually affecting businesses more so in the ability that employees aren't able to make it to work or actually do their job, and that's having some significant effects on supply chains. So definitely something to keep in mind, especially the airline industry. Now, when it comes to earnings, there's not a whole lot going on this week. We do have Bed Bath & Beyond as well as WD-40 and a couple of other companies, Constellation Brands in there. But no major companies that I follow, so we're going to skip over this just a little bit. And what I want to share with you here is my thoughts on the market, and then I want to talk about some of the companies that I plan to hold for the long term and some companies that I am looking to buy into shortly. So first of all, my thoughts on the market. Number one, long term, we are still moving in the bullish direction. Like I pointed out on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, until those trend lines break and the price falls through those trend lines, we're going to be in a bullish direction. We're going to be in a strong market. We're going to be in a healthy market. And it looks like we're going in the bullish and the upwards direction until those key levels are broken. So definitely something to watch for, something to keep an eye on. And that's what I'm going to be watching for in all of these smaller market pullbacks. So don't worry and don't look at all the YouTube videos saying that the market is crashing until you look at those key support levels and decide for yourself. Now, I do have a couple of concerns in the market. Number one is Omicron, which I just showed you because of those charts and because the numbers are just skyrocketing right now. And my second concern is inflation. Right now it's at about 6%, which is traditionally extremely high. It's not very good. And it's really not good for people that are older in retirement with really safe investments, because it means that they're probably losing money on a yearly basis. Now, in this section right here, what I want to do is talk about great companies. And great companies, I use this term a little bit on my YouTube channel. I talk about great companies a lot. And great companies are companies that you can buy their stock, hold it for 5 years, and have absolutely no concerns that this company is still going to be here. They're going to be profitable, and they're going to be worth more in 5 years than they are today. That's what I would classify as a great company. And these great companies also have a track record and a history and a proven business model and lots of profits. And that's what we're looking for when I say great companies. And I like great companies because these are the kind of stocks that I can buy into at almost any time of the year and hold them long term and know that they're going to be worth more in the future. And for me, these are the 5 great companies that I like to buy into, that I think are some of the best in the industry. And if you had to go out and say, hey, would you rather hold Apple or any other company out there? 99% of the time, I am going to say Apple. Same thing with the other 5 companies on this list here, because these are just fantastic companies. And I can tell you right now that all 5 of these companies are the 5 largest positions in my long-term portfolio, because I truly believe in this, and I truly believe that all 5 of these companies are extremely valuable right now, are extremely profitable, are going to be more profitable in the future, and their share prices are going to go up over the long term. So I completely believe in all 5 of these companies doing extremely well over the long term. Now, I currently own positions in all of these companies, but the companies that I don't own positions in, that I want to own positions in 2022, are on this list here. Now, some of them I bought in and out of in the past or made a couple of trades, but these are basically the high growth stocks that I've done my due diligence on, that I've done my research on, where I like the business model, I like the management, I think they're going to do well over the next 3 to 5 years, and I want to get into these with a swing trade that does really well, and then I'm just going to hold on to it with a trailing stop loss and probably transition it into a long-term hold. So that's my plan here with the companies on this list. Most of the time, I don't do that. Most of the time, I'm short in and out, but these are the companies that I could see being added to my long-term portfolio Now what I'm gonna do is make a swing trade to get into them, and if that swing trade goes extremely well, that position will then become a long-term position because I like all of these companies and I wanna add them to my long-term portfolio. So definitely check out the companies on this list. And the last thing I wanna talk about here before we get into the stock charts is crypto. Crypto is super big right now in 2021. It was probably the year of crypto. And in 2022, I think that's gonna continue. It might not continue at the same pace, but I think the cat is out of the bag and I think there's no getting it back in. So I am on board with crypto. I like crypto, I hold crypto, and I'm doing a variety of things. Number one, I am mining Bitcoin. So as you can see, I posted a few videos lately talking about how I am mining Bitcoin and what equipment I'm using to do it. Definitely check out my channel if you want to see that. I am also staking some cryptocurrency. I'm currently staking Axie Infinity because Axie Infinity is the largest market cap company that still gives you an APY over 100%. And so I'm currently staking Axie Infinity. I'm also looking at staking Cake, which is another cryptocurrency, currently giving about a 50 to 60% APY, which is extremely, extremely good. Now it's just about getting into these at the right time. I'm currently in Axie Infinity, not holding any Cake at the moment. I'm also looking at purchasing a strong block node. I'd love some feedback from you guys if you have any insight into those. And I'm currently holding Solana, Ethereum, and some BNB, as well as the crypto that I am mining, as well as a regular kind of moderate size position in Bitcoin that I've just acquired back in the day. Okay, now when it comes to stocks that I am watching to buy into this week, Coursera, I've mentioned this stock a couple of times and it just keeps selling off and trading at lower and lower levels, which for me represents a greater and greater opportunity. And over the last week here, it traded completely sideways. And so what I am watching for is a breakout of this 26 level right here. I'd like to see it cross through our moving averages and kind of form some higher lows. That's what I am looking for because that's an indication of a trend change and that's when I want to buy into it. I am also really optimistic about this company long term because they have a current price to sales ratio of just 8. They're growing at 33% quarter over quarter and they have 57% gross profit. That is absolutely amazing and I strongly believe Coursera is going to do well over the long term. Next company I want to point out to you here is Sea Limited. I really like this stock. The revenue growth is absolutely phenomenal and it has sold off pretty majorly, down about 40% in the last few months here, coming down to some major support at 200, which acted as previous support earlier in the year. So I do think we're at a very key level here with Sea Limited. We have seen a little bit of consolidation here, and if we start to move in the bullish direction, that would be the trend reversal that we are looking for, and that would be my entry into Sea Limited. Next stock here is Callaway Golf, ticker symbol ELY. I haven't talked about this company on the channel before, but I really like the business model. I like what they do. They also acquired Topgolf a few years ago, and that acquisition was pretty strategic in my mind. I thought it was pretty good, and so I like what they have going on right here. We also have a high of $37, and then we have continuously lower highs all the way from June or the middle of this year all the way to today. We've got a very clear level of resistance here. We've got a very clear level of support. It's basically a descending wedge kind of pattern right here. And I think we're gonna see a bounce off of support at $25, $26. And I am watching for the breakout of this white trend line right here, because that would be an indication of a trend change. And we're probably gonna run back up to $37, $38. That's what I'd be looking for here, is possibly the entry on 25 if we come back down, but more ideally the breakout to $30 and then to 36, 37, 38. Now the other thing that I thought was interesting about Callaway Golf was if you take this $25 price level and you stretch it all the way back to 2018, you can see that we actually got rejected right here at the end of 2018 at $25. We traded all the way down to $4.75. We finally broke our way through it on our way up to 37, and we have tested $25 now several times in 2021. And so a key support price level from 2018 is now a very key crucial support price level in 2022. I just wanted to point that out to you because this is why it is so important to look at your stocks on a larger time frame and then narrow it into your time frame that you want to trade on. If I hadn't zoomed out here, we never would have saw this pattern, and this gives me more confidence that $25 is probably going to be a key support level, and if we fall below 25, that's really not going to be a good sign. All right, now second last company I want to point out to you here is Roblox. Roblox is really interesting. They're basically trying to build their own metaverse here, and the stock ran from $70 up to $140 in a matter of just a few months here. So absolutely amazing. And then since then, it has formed a descending triangle right here. We've got support at 90, 95 right here, and we've got serious levels of resistance right here. I've just drawn a trend line connecting all of the highs right here, and as you can see, it's basically formed a triangle. And so what we are watching for is a breakdown of support, so the price trades below $90 here, or a breakout above kind of 100, 110 level right here. That would be confirmation of a trend change, and that would be an entry or an entry signal to get into the stock. Now, one of the really interesting things about Roblox is that Roblox has a huge fan in Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is a very, very large government figure in the United States, and she has actually just purchased options in Roblox. Now, if you don't know what an option is basically the right to purchase shares at a specific price on a specific day. So let's just say that you buy the right to buy Roblox at $100 in January of 2023, and then Roblox trades at $200. Well, you can go in and buy at 100, you can sell at 200, and you can make a really, really nice profit margin. And that is exactly what Nancy Pelosi is trying to do. You can see her transaction right here, and she is buying Roblox options at a strike price of $100 for an expiry in January 20th of 2023. And so if Roblox in January 2023 is trading at, let's call it $200, she'll probably make $90 to $100 on every share that she purchases, and she's probably gonna do extremely well if Roblox continues to go up in price. Now, the last stock that I want to share with you here is from the quantum computing space. I've done a bunch of due diligence and research on this space in the last 2 weeks here. I posted 4 different videos about quantum computing last week. None of them got any views. There's almost no interest in this, and I actually see that as a good sign, because it means there's probably an opportunity for me to get in before the hype really builds up. And so I am watching Argit Quantum, ticker symbol ARQQ. This stock seems to have the most traction, the most customers, and the most signed contracts out of anybody in the industry, especially on the smaller pure play quantum computing stocks. So I really, really like it. I like the management. I've listened to the management, and here's what I am watching for. Number one, I have a little bit of concern that we're currently in a head and shoulders pattern. What I mean is shoulder on the left right here, head right here, shoulder on the right here. And when we see that, that usually means that the price is going to continue to trade lower. So that would be a bearish sign. Unless it comes down to this sort of $10 to $15 level right here, I think there's value in the stock at those levels. So I would probably be picking some up, especially if we bounce off this same level of support right here where we bounced off in October. That is scenario one. Scenario two is that the price moves in the bullish direction and we break through 25, 26 right here, and that would be a breakout of previous resistance, and I would be buying into the stock ideally below 30 and trying to ride it up to 40. I expect us to see a little bit of resistance here at 40, but the market opportunity for this company and quantum computing is just so large that it would not surprise me to see this run up even higher. All right, now I know that that was a lot of information and a lot of stuff to cover there, but here's the quick summary. Number one, this is a new year and a new opportunity for you, so make sure that you are building, creating, and enforcing good trading habits. Manage your risk, get out of losers quickly. Make sure you let the winners run. Make sure you're managing your portfolio properly. Make sure you're staying on top of it, and make sure you're staying healthy. Those are the things that you need to do to invest your money properly. Secondly, it's January 1st of a brand new year. That means that depending on where you live, most of your retirement accounts and your tax-free accounts have probably reset. I live in Canada, and so I just got another $6,000 of room in my TFSA and another like $20,000 worth of room in my RRSP. So make sure that you keep that in mind. As of right now, the markets are doing okay, and I pointed out to you the key levels on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, as well as the Dow Jones, that you should be looking for to identify a large market correction or a market crash. So make sure you pay attention to those. And the two things that I am worried about or concerned about are number one, the Omicron variant, and number two, inflation getting out of control. If that happens, I think Bitcoin is a good store of value. Now, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about how the stock market works and how to find good companies, then definitely consider checking out my stock market fundamentals course. It is completely free and it's hosted on Skillshare. When you sign up with the link down below, you'll get free access to the entire platform. And if you can do my course in under 2 weeks, you get the entire thing for free. It's 10 hours long. There's over 10,000 students that have gone through the course, and there's over 370 reviews for you to take a read through. I promise you it'll be the best free resource that you can find online, and I will see you guys in the next video. Good luck trading, good luck investing, and if you get any value out of these videos, remember to click that like and subscribe button. I sincerely appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.